4:55 p.m. In silent grief, Duchess Lupei held the photo of her precious daughter, Galene, having wept until tears no longer fell. "My only child is gone." She placed the photo into one of the boxes her servants had brought to the London flat. Menial tasks were below her station, but she dismissed her aides, desiring to be alone with Galene's mementos. She wanted everything of Galene's, even the 3 bags of human blood she'd found in the fridge. She looked around at the world her daughter had created. She could not bring herself to smile, but did feel a sense of pride. Galene, known to the world as Gail Simmons, had been a celebrity in every sense of the word, familiar with the movers and shakers in the entertainment business in Europe and around the world. Her daughter had loved the limelight, serving the Morvicti as an award-winning actress. That role fit perfectly into her too short life. "She's really gone." The Duchess felt another tear roll down her cheek, despite the flood that had come before. Her husband had suggested they try to have another child, though they both knew how long it had taken them to conceive Galene. Bearing offspring for the Morvicti was difficult and rare. She'd only become pregnant with Galene after the 3rd and longest slumber of her life, 55 years. Although she dreaded going below, the thought of having a child made it worthwhile. No one ever knew when, or even if, they would return from the healing unconscious state to the ground above. In the Lupei bloodline, there were members who continued to slumber after thousands of years. It was unknown why they hadn't risen. Their bodies were healed, yet their minds remained in that everlasting night. After losing Galene to the monster stalking the Morvicti, she'd craved the grave, not the one immortals return to, but the one that would send her to oblivion forever. "The loss of my head. My sweet Galene, how can I go on without you? I wish it had been me instead of you." The Imperial Morvicti Council, which her husband was one of the 9, was using every resource at their disposal to locate the person responsible for Galene and Nadia's murders. Even Octavia Drake, who held the highest position, had returned to London to head the search. Some believed the killer was a half-blood, others thought him human, and a smaller number thought the murderer might even be a Morvicti pureblood. Regardless, she did not care. Whoever had taken her sweet Galene away from her needed their heads severed from their body. It was blasphemy to think such thoughts, but she was a mother. She couldn't help it, nor did she care. The Morvicti world was about immortality for the pure, whether sleeping or awake. It didn't matter. But it mattered to her now. She wanted to die, to crawl into Galene's casket, to stop the limitless ache she felt inside her. If she had the courage, she would have found a way out to cut off her own head. A knock on the door startled her. "One of the servants, no doubt, returning to make sure I'm okay." Her husband had remained in Romania. His grief nearly matched her own, though it presented itself in a much different way. He'd vowed to never step foot in London ever again. Another knock. "One moment, please." She didn't want to see anyone, craving the solitude that seemed to be the only thing that helped her through this nightmare. But regardless of her own personal feelings, she was Duchess of the noble Lupei bloodline, wife to the highest in the clan, and with that title came duties to be seen to. She brought out her compact and checked her face. Her eyes were swollen, but that could not be helped. She reapplied her lipstick, straightened her hair, and headed for the door. When she opened it, she saw a man wielding a knife. "Hello, Duchess. I'm Jack." 4:26 p.m. Enraged, Octavian grabbed Bathry by the collar. "Who of your bloodline allowed Jack to escape this place? You?" "No, Majesty," the man choked out. "That's Jack the Ripper in that cell." "It is not. You are in charge here, Sir Bathry. You are responsible for this breach." Belisarius brought out his gun, pointing it at Bathry. The man raised his hands to the ceiling. "There is no need for violence, my lords. I will cooperate with you fully. I want to clear this mistake up as much as you do." "Mistake? This is much more than a simple error." Octavian glared at Bathry. 3 of the Morvicti are dead because of this mistake." 3? Bathry's eyebrows shot up. "I only know of Nancy Blake and Gail Simmons." Angry and full of grief, he turned to Bathry. "Add my brother Rom to the list. His body was found with his head severed this morning, whether by your hand or one of your brethren's. This is your fault. You are the one in charge of this sanctuary, and now I will never be with my brother again." Bathry lowered his gaze. "Majesty, I am so sorry for your loss." "All empty words, Bathry." Belisarius kept his weapon aimed at the weasel. "Octavian, what did you see up there? Was the cell empty?" No, there's a staked body, but it isn't Jack's.
How can you know that, Majesty?
Bathry's face tightened in what appeared to be a mask of confusion and fear.
The only ones who saw the monster in 1888 are still sleeping. Your grandmother and my father remain below ground, as do the rest of the other nobles.
Octavian hated the lies, but the very fabric of Morvicti society was woven by secrets. He was no exception, having a myriad of his own. But this one could no longer remain hidden. What you didn't know, Sir Bathry, is that I also met the beast. A year before Jack attacked Mary Jane Kelly, I met him in Prague.
My lord?
Belisarius narrowed his eyes at his confession. You remember our second cousin, Irina?
Of course I do.
Like all Morvicti, Belisarius had an eidetic memory.
Irina was missing in 1859, and her beheaded corpse was found in 1890, killed by human hunters.
Hunters did not kill Irina. Her son did.
Her son?
Belisarius' eyes widened. Jack, the Ripper. Irina fell in love with the mortal, and against all odds they conceived. Irina knew the law demanded her reject her baby and turn him over to humans to bring up, but she feared the Brotherhood of Purity would find and kill him if she did.
Belisarius sighed. I had no clue, Octavian.
No one did. Irina fled with her infant son, vanishing from the eyes of our family. I found her and Jack 29 years later in the city of 100 spires. They were living a meager existence. Having pity on Irina, sympathizing with her desire to save her son, I kept silence to our bloodline. Bathry's lips twisted into a smirk.
You broke our sacred law, Majesty. You should have reported your cousin to the Imperial Morvicti Council and to your grandmother, the Queen.
One more word from you, and I'll put a bullet between your eyes. Belisarius's loyalty did not waver despite what he'd just heard.
I'm just stating the obvious, Poole,
Bathry said, calling Belisarius by his alias.
Your cousin conceived an abomination and then embraced him. Forgive me, Majesty.
The bastard bowed.
But you must make amends for your sin of silence.
Why shouldn't a mother remain with her son? Besides, the winds of change had begun to blow. The unjust law concerning the rejection of half-bloods was close to being overturned.
Until the murders in Whitechapel,
Bathry said with a hideous grin.
I can't believe the blood of the most noble of the Morvicti flows in the Ripper's veins. Did you not hear me?
Belisarius aimed the gun between Bathry's eyes.
I told you to shut up.
Bathry nodded.
Now, Albert.
Belisarius's eyes went wide, and then he slumped to the ground with a stake in his back.
We've been betrayed.
In a single fluid motion, Octavian drew his gun and fired on Albert, who was standing over Belisarius. The man groaned loudly, grabbing his chest and falling on top of Octavian's cousin, the same stake he'd used to take down Belisarius, now piercing his own traitorous body. Full of fury, Octavian swung back around, but Bathry had already fled. He could hear the rat's fading footsteps echoing off the sanctuary's walls. Bathry was running full blast and would be up on the surface shortly. You will not escape me for long, Bathry. Octavian brought out his mobile phone, hoping against hope to get a signal, but the screen informed him there was none available down in these chambers, no chance of calling for aid from his family. He shoved Albert off of Belisarius. The lowlife's injuries were substantial enough to keep him immobile for the next few hours, but to make certain the bastard didn't move again, he pulled the stake out of Belisarius and shoved it into the gaping wound into Albert's stomach. That would definitely send the bastard into slumber. Belisarius choked. Blood came out of his mouth. Stay with me, my friend. Belisarius tried to speak, but could not. His eyes were glazing over. If he did not receive blood soon, slumber would overtake him. Who knew how long he might remain underground to fully recover? I will not fail you. Octavian stood wondering how many in the Bathry bloodline had been part of the plot to resurrect the Ripper. Albert had, and so had David Bathry. The latter was the leader of the clan and most likely the kingpin behind the treachery. The Ripper walked the streets of London again. The beast had killed 2 young ones and Rom, desecrating the Drake bloodline sanctuary. Jack could have killed Austin, too. Why he hadn't was unknown. Still, the tragedy was David Bathry's doing. Hot rage pulsed through Octavian's veins. He vowed silently to remove both the Ripper's head and Bathry's from their shoulders, and every other Bathry head that had played a part in the villainous act, even if that meant the entire bloodline would be eradicated. But first, he needed to escape this place. Getting out of the Sanctuary of the Forgotten would be more difficult than getting inside. He needed to find the Bathry woman they had seen earlier providing blood to the inmates of the sanctuary. Thankfully, the stake had not hit Belisarius' heart, and with her blood, he would be back on his feet shortly. His cousin would need an hour, maybe more, to be strong enough to fight, but he might be able to walk sooner with a little help. Pausing, he listened. He could hear the woman and guessed her to be about 100 feet down the hallway from this room. Though anxious to get to the life-giving blood the Bathry woman carried, he stepped out cautiously. When he found her, she was huddled in a corner, trembling.
"Majesty!"
She stared at his gun.
"Were those shots I heard from you?"
They were. Perhaps there were Bathrys still loyal to the Imperial Morvicti Council after all. The head of your bloodline has betrayed the Morvicti. 2 tears streamed down her cheeks. She lowered her gaze.
"Your will is my duty, your majesty, always."
"Come with me. We have work to do." 4:54 p.m. With her ears ringing from the blast, Angelique watched Austin grab the machine gun, hitting the guy in the face with the weapon's butt, while simultaneously kicking the other man with the pistol in the groin. Both men fell to the floor. Austin kept hold of the machine gun he'd taken from the first attacker. He picked up the gun that had fallen from the other man's hand. "Take this." She wrapped her fingers around the butt of the pistol. It felt strange to her.
"Austin, I've never shot a gun."
"And I hope you never have to." With her heart racing, she grabbed his hand, and they ran out of the room. She could hear yelling and more gunfire coming from different areas of the facility. Another explosion went off, but farther from them. They turned a corner and ran into another masked man. Before he could fire his weapon, Austin fired his, and the attacker slumped to the ground. They kept running through the debris falling around them. As they passed the lifeless body of one of Michael's agents, dread rolled through her.
"Is Michael safe?"
They came to an open door. Austin motioned for her to stay back. He rushed through it. More gunfire.
"Oh, God, please help us."
Silence. Austin returned to the doorway. "Come on, Angelique." She ran to him. The area beyond was an underground car park. 3 masked men were stretched out on the ground, bleeding and unmoving.
"Oh, God, Austin."
He ran between cars, peering inside them. He came to a black BMW. "Keys in this one. This is our ride out of here." She took a step his direction, and one of the fallen gunmen grabbed her leg. She screamed, and Austin fired several rounds into the man. Horrified, she couldn't stop staring at her attacker's now empty eyes.
"Michael, you're not here. Thank God. Safe."
"Come on, sis." They climbed inside, and he peeled out of the space. She looked back and saw more masked men spilling out of the doorway they'd just left. A couple of them bent down and poured a dark red liquid from plastic containers into the mouths of the 3 dead men on the ground. The other new arrivals fired at her and Austin, running to their cars. Austin drove up the ramp. They came out on a busy street, packed with commuters heading home for the day. She could hear police sirens howling from every direction. At a breathtaking speed, Austin weaved in and out of traffic, turning left and right in the dim light of dusk. Looking over her shoulder out the back glass, she spotted smoke billowing into the sky from the building they'd left.
"Who are these men?"
"I don't know. Just hang on." She spotted the cars of the masked men, which were gaining on them.
"Austin, they're getting closer."
Her heart thumped hard in her chest as he made a daring pass around several cars, turning right against traffic. He sped through a red light, horns blasted. One of their pursuers' cars hit a taxi, rolling over before coming to a stop. The other 2 drove through the light, continuing to chase them. She grabbed the dashboard and planted her feet as Austin hit the gas, passing a bus. He turned off his lights and made a sharp left into an alley. Looking back, she saw their attacker's car speed past.
"Should we get out of this car, Austin? The gunman will recognize it."
"No." Keeping the lights off, he sped down the narrow alley and came out onto another street. 3 police cars and 2 fire engines drove past them, heading in the direction of coach and horses. As Austin slowed the car to the same speed as the rest of the traffic, he turned to her. "We need to get in touch with Michael."
"I left my purse back there. My mobile phone was in it." "I need Michael."
"Relax. We just have to find a payphone."
"Austin, they're rare now, though I've seen them around the tube. Everyone has mobile phones these days. Plus, even if we did locate one, neither of us has any money."
He sighed. "You said Michael was going to Dr. Wilson's home, right?"
"Yes."
The light turned red at Oxford Circus, and they came to a stop. "We can meet up with him there. Do you know the address?"
"No, but I know someone who might."
"Where to?"
"The British Museum to see Dr. Kelsey Vickers. We need to hurry because it closes 10 minutes from now."
Thanks for listening to Morvicti Blood, Episode 13, Jack the Ripper at the Door. I hope you'll like and share and subscribe and hit the notification bell. New episodes are dropping every Monday and Friday. But if you want more now and haven't watched the full 8-part sequel, Morvicti Execution, it's already live. Start there to witness the betrayal that set everything in motion. Want to read ahead and uncover secrets not yet shown on screen? The full novel, Morvicti Blood, is available now on Amazon. You'll find the link in the description if you dare. I hope you'll leave a comment. What do you think? What creeped you out? Who do you think survives? I'm going to read every comment, and I'm going to try to answer every comment or question that you have. For early access, bonus episodes, and forbidden lore, join our inner circle, Bloodbound, at patreon.com/Lee Swift. Until next time, keep your lights on, stay quiet, and whatever you do, don't answer the knock at your door.